Hi guys, it's Granny Tana speaking. Welcome to the weekly FarmSim news video for the week from 9th of September till 15th of September 2023. And the most interesting news of this week, more fact sheets of the upcoming Oxbow pack. The Oxbow pack will release next week on September the 19th. And now we got two new fact sheets. This is for the bigger one of the manure and slurry spreaders. This is the manure version of it. And yeah, it costs 480,000 bucks, has 550 horsepower, and you can drive 40 kilometers per hour with it. It has 25,000 liters capacity, and you can work with 20 kilometers per hour. As a manure spreader, you can use it as it is. As a slurry spreader, you need an additional distributor for the slurry. And here is the very versatile machine for the grape cultivation. This is the sprayer version, where you can spray 4 rows in one go, and this machine can also be transformed into a harvester, in two kinds of harvester, one with a small bunker and the other one without bunker but with a pipe, and you can only use it in multiplayer. And yeah, there are already videos out there from some YouTubers, and I will record my Oxbow video following the recording of this video, and so there will be an Oxbow video from me, I guess, on Sunday. And here I already placed all the vehicles and prepared the fields for this, that I'm ready to start later today. Okay, let's go to the Modhub news of this week. And I think this is not the last. Yeah, this is the newest page. We got 4 new maps and quite some interesting mods and updates and everything else that should come to Modhub week by week. And yeah, we go through it, and then I'll show you the maps and some of the most interesting mods. Here we have the Little Mountain Country. It came out today, and here are some machines and buildings and updates for La Coronella, for example. And here is an Italian barn. You can store up to 750 pallets and bales in this barn. And a multi-purpose shed pack. Very interesting too. And there are a lot of sheds and stuff like that this week. And updates for Goldcrest Valley and Hills of Tuscany. And yeah, some vehicles. And here a crude oil production. We'll have a closer look on this because it is a new gameplay feature. And updates again. And then we got 3 maps on one day, which is the crossplay version of Court Farm. Court Farm by Oxygen David has already been out for PC and Mac only, and now we got the version that is also available for consoles. And therefore it counts as a new map because it's a different map. But it's the same map but in a different version. And then we got Campaign of France by Black Sheep Modding. And I already made a map tour video about this and started a small let's play because I really like this map. And then there is the Valley Farm. Yeah, and we will have a look at this map on the Modhub pages. Yeah, another truck and trailers and such. Then there is a modular greenhouse set. It looks very interesting. We'll have a closer look on this too, and on the silo facility by Dudu, which looks very interesting. He is new but very good Blender 3D artist who makes very interesting looking mods. Yeah, and therefore I like to show those mods. Here we have seed production and cow sheds, chicken coop, sheds, and there is a modding team, maybe Rentner modding. Rentner is the German word for when you are old and don't work anymore. And yeah, therefore, as a granny, I have closer look on this, and I thought, okay, I'm not the only old person that is modding. There are other old modders. And yeah, here, more sheds and stacked pallets. And then we come to the last week's mods. Yeah, so let's have a look at the cord farm. I already made a map tour video and I have a let's play on the first cord farm, the PC version, and this map is more or less the same, but it's available for consoles as well. And it's made by it's a realistic mod made by a real landscape and farm, and therefore you can see this, that it is very real, and sometimes it's a little bit difficult to navigate on this narrow farm, but that's the price if you want to play on a real farm. And the background mountains are fantastic. Oxygen David is a real artist with his real life farms, and he builds all those buildings, and yeah, he is definitely very famous for his real looking and from the real world, not only inspired, but it's a model of the real world, and that makes his maps very interesting. Okay, and then we have the Campaign of France, another very famous modding team. Oxygen David, I think it's only one guy, and Black Sheep Modding is a team. It's available for all platforms too. Campaign of France has been out on FS19 as well. And those are the makers of The Valley, the Old Farm, and the Old Stream Farm. And this is a very, very small map. To begin with, here you see it's this typical Black Sheep modding old cozy farm feeling with self-made buildings, and yeah, and you feel like in a different century. And here you can see this is the whole size of the map, but the real map is only this tiny small piece, and all around that is more like no man's land, and you can buy the fields, the empty fields, but some of them are rather hilly, so it's not always easy to use those fields around. But some of them are not so steep, and then you can use it as a meadow to feed your cows, or you can transform it to whatever you want. And therefore this map has changed a lot since FS19, because you have a very narrow, small, tiny field map in the center with all the infrastructure that you need from a map, and outside you have the freedom of no man's land. That makes this map very interesting. Yeah, and I spontaneously fell in love with this map, and therefore I make a small let's play on my English channel, and I make an old vintage machinery let's play on my German channel. So 2 let's plays on this tiny map. Yeah, so this is the campaign of France. And then we have the Valley Farm. It's available for all platforms too, and it's a fictitious European style map with 45 fields. And it has a new crop added, it's alfalfa. And you need 5 required mods, and here it looks like that. So hilly, especially in the background, but the mountains are not so steep like in Elm Creek. I guess those mountains are taken from Erlengrad, I mean, and made flat, more flat, that they are not as high. It's a good idea, I would say, to use those mountains and give them a different shape. And it seems to be a small map, and yeah, not all, but most of the fields are rather irregular. And yeah, a lot of those French buildings from Auberon. And here you get an overall feeling. Yeah, looks nice. And the newest map is the Little Mountain Country for all platforms as well. And it has 84 fields, and you need a lot of required mods. And let's just go through the images. And here you have a mixture of rectangular fields and irregular fields. I think it's a good mixture, so everyone find fields for their personal taste. Because I know some people love the helper-friendly rectangular fields and others like more those interesting shapes, and therefore it is both on this map. And here we see it's a little bit hilly, and there is a big forest in the back. Yeah, and trees around the fields, maybe not so helper friendly. Yeah. Okay, now let's have a look at the silo facility made by Dudu for all platforms. When I counted all the zeros correctly, it has a capacity of 1,000,000 liters and costs 300,000 bucks. But for me, it's always difficult to count a lot of zeros. Yeah, and here you can see it, and it looks really interesting. In our area, we have a silo that looks like the top of this, not like the bottom, that looks different. but it's in our neighbor village, and you can see this top. Can you see my mouse? Yeah, you can see the top is like that. You can see it from far away, so it's quite realistic, and it's an interesting building, so it looks really different to other buildings. And I like the mods by Dudu because he is a really good 3D artist in Blender, and he's hanging around in my Discord quite a lot. And yeah, I'm always happy when I see new modders that are into buildings, because as I'm a building modder myself, I understand this better, and I see the vehicles. I always see only lots of vehicles, and I don't understand it as good as buildings, and therefore I like to show you the mods by Dudu, because I have more understanding of this. Yeah, and it's really nice again. Here from the other side, and in the snow. And I would say it's an awesome addition to a farm, and it makes a farm look unique. And then we have the modular greenhouses. And I would say for all platforms as well, this is not just another greenhouse, but here you can see it gives a whole new dimension into this greenhouse business. The output is only the salad and strawberry and tomatoes as per usual, like in the base game, but you have a lot of other factors, and you can put the greenhouse together to have a really big facility. So this is a smaller facility, but here you can already see you can drive with a small tractor inside the greenhouse. This is already really different to the greenhouses we have in the base game. And here you see the plants are different. It's a little bit like vertical farming with the tomatoes and the strawberry, and it's a modern kind of salad growth here for the lettuce. And yeah, here is this image that I don't really understand, but I see there's a lot of connection. You can use things from the BGA, and you can, some kind of soil can be used, and yeah, very interesting, I would say. Here are the different modules that you can combine, and here you see a rather big facility where you can have a lot of greenhouse production. And this is a professional greenhouse. The greenhouses we have are rather more like small greenhouses for hobby gardeners. You can place 10 together, then it's bigger, but this is a different dimension, and therefore I find it very interesting. Look here, the output. And then we have the crude oil production. And this is another whole new gameplay features knitted into the FarmSim. It doesn't have a lot to do with FarmSim, but uses features of the FarmSim. What I think is very interesting, because it enlarges the possibilities that you have with FS22. It's available for all platforms, and you get a lot of objects, and here you can see it working. So first we have, this seems to be something like oil production, or where you get oil, and then here we have an image. So you have a generator and oil extraction. Then you have crude oil and an oil tank, and you can refine it and you make products and then you can sell it. So it's a whole system, and it uses the production mechanism of the FarmSim. And here you see you use a tractor to drive your products around. You have the pellet spawn mechanisms, a pellet trailer. So it's closely connected to FarmSim, and I guess you can use it on all maps. You just have to place all the stuff down. And so if you got bored by growing crops, you can grow your oil stuff to make it more interesting. And if you are one of those who think, no, I don't want anything in my FarmSim that has nothing to do with farming, then it's fine. You don't need this mod. You can just leave it away and grow your crops. And therefore I like the idea to enlarge the possibilities of the FarmSim. Yeah, now let's have a look what I did this week. Here I made a small video starting with the camping ground. This is my map 4 fields that will hopefully be finished soon. On Sunday I want to have the first alpha version for testing out, and here I made some new productions. There will be the second farm at the left side, and I just decorated the meadow area with some bushes and so. And here's another very tiny village, and there is the windmill, grain production, the animal dealer, and here are the new productions that you can buy and use. And there we have wind turbines. Oh, and the port area where you can sell all your stuff. And if you buy the farmland of these wind turbines, you get a passive income rather similar to the camping ground, but a different way. And yeah, I didn't take the huge wind turbines because they are so big, and sometimes I like them, sometimes not. This time I thought, no, I would prefer smaller ones, and then I do 7 of them, and it has a different look than always the same huge wind turbines. Yeah, and you can get some passive income from this. And yeah, the longer I work on this map, the more interesting I find the area around those 4 fields, which is not so big, but yeah, there's always some place that you can get an interesting feature. So here we have a huge vineyard with pre-planted grapes, and if you buy this farmland, you can have grow grapes additional to your huge field. As a reminder, this will be a map with 4 huge square fields and 4 farms, and the 4 fields are in the center, and around is some area that can be used like that, and for example, or the camping ground. Here we have another image of the camping ground. Here in the back you see parts of those 4 fields, And this is a little shop on the camping ground. You have a selling station there where you can sell your products, and in this tiny shop booth it will be sold to the guests of the camping ground. Here are the wind turbines again. And the last thing I made was um, the starting equipment. This is part of the German starting equipment. Ah, yeah, this map has two variations. So you download one map and then you can choose between two maps. One is the German looking map with German style buildings and German style starting equipment, and the other one is with American style buildings and American starting equipment. And it's a lot of fun to make the same map for two different countries, so to say. It's really, really a lot of fun, and to transform the buildings that you hopefully get a really different feeling on the same map. Yeah, those are part of the German equipments and those of the Americans. And you get tractors as well and everything that you need. And the equipment is bigger than usually as at a starting equipment, because you have field with 64 hectares at the beginning. And therefore you need quite a nice combine, and you need a big trailer and big tractors and so forth. Okay, so I hope I can prepare the map that it will be available for testing on Sunday. Then I'll make another short introduction video of the map, and then there will be an internet address to download it on my website, only for testing now because it isn't ready yet, and only for PC for sure. And later when it's done, I hope at the end of the month, I will upload it to Modhub, and then when it's tested it will come out for consoles as well. So I think that's all for this week. I wish you a wonderful day. Thank you for watching and all the best. Till next time. Tschüss.